Dumbo is Disney's latest live-action remake of one of their animated classics. It is also the latest film from Tim Burton, who has been hit or miss for me. I love his early works from Beetlejuice to his Batman films, but modern Tim Burton has never quite hit the same heights for me. The original Dumbo was a film that I definitely enjoyed as a kid, but it's not one that I've often revisited. It always surprises me that that movie is only 64 minutes long. The movie has definitely shown its age, and there are things of that movie that don't translate well today, but as a product of its time, it fascinates me. This new live-action Dumbo is nearly 2 hours long, and it is much more of a reimagining of the original Dumbo, which for people who thought the recent live-action Beauty and the Beast was faithful to a fault, you might actually be pleased to know that this Dumbo is a true adaptation. It exists more as its own thing. While Dumbo is still central and by far the most important part of the film, the perspective is switched to the humans, where this time we don't have any talking animals, except for the crows who are absent for obvious reasons. The animals from the 1941 film are there, they just don't talk this time and aren't really major characters, and exist more as cute nods, which is fine to me. I appreciate the approach of doing new things with the material, because there are things in that movie that had to be updated regardless. Doing a scene-by-scene remake of Dumbo just wouldn't work, and would absolutely cause a lot of uproar. This Dumbo instead puts its attention on a family living and working in the circus, who come into contact with the flying Dumbo and his mother. People who have seen the original film will have a general idea about what happens with Dumbo and his mother. So this family winds up befriending Dumbo, while an egotistical entrepreneur wishes to exploit Dumbo's flying ability. For the most part, the performances in the movie are pretty wonderful. Colin Farrell does a great job as this war veteran, coming home to his kids trying to rekindle with them, while Danny DeVito is as fantastically DeVito-esque as you would expect him to be as a circus owner. While Eva Green, despite being underutilized, adds some much needed love and care to the film. Michael Keaton, who is an actor I absolutely love, does seem a bit off in comparison to the rest of the cast, as he's often overperforming and eccentric to a fault, where you maybe needed someone like Will Farrell to capture what the character needed to be. The child actors are okay as well. I found them to be a bit bland in the earlier scenes, but they do ease into their roles as the movie progresses. The production design, as you'd expect in a Tim Burton film, is outstanding, although it never 100% commits to Tim Burton's style. So some Tim Burton fans might feel a bit disappointed that he seems a little bit restrained here. So many scenes are staged and crafted in a way that make you remember that you're watching this big, fantastical movie, and that Disney spent a lot of money on it. There's always something to like in Dumbo, whether it's Danny DeVito or the sets, especially the pink elephant sequence or Danny Elfman's great score, but the best parts always come down to Dumbo himself. The character has been animated with so much love and care that even though other parts of the film aren't as strong, you end up most importantly caring about the title character. I loved every second spent with Dumbo. I know some people online found him a bit too realistic and creepy, but I never had an issue and just found him adorable, because he is completely the heart of the movie. The issue with the movie though is everything around the Dumbo character feels underdeveloped. The movie wants to have a story about corrupt corporations and animal cruelty, but they only touch on these themes very lightly. They're never approached at the expense of spectacle. The human characters, particularly the kids, don't really get enough setup in the beginning to make you really connect and care for them. That attention to building relationships is saved mainly for Dumbo and his mother. Most of my emotional reactions came to what happened to Dumbo, because Disney properly spends the time to develop him without ever using any words. The human characters don't get the same level of development, even though we spend a lot of time with them. So I often found myself waiting for Dumbo to reappear, because he was where the wonder and life of the movie was. The movie uses the human characters to try and tell us when we should be in awe and wonder, but because there's a disconnect with them, it just isn't as impactful as it could have been, lacking that bit of emotional spark that you usually get with Disney films. It doesn't help that Michael Keaton's character is a completely over-the-top villain, so you never really buy into his plans, and at times it seems like he's in a different movie. It also doesn't help that the final act is a bit of a mess, where a lot of things are all happening at once, and despite the flying elephant in the movie, asks you to suspend your disbelief to a degree that doesn't quite match with the other parts of the film. Most of Dumbo is actually kept fairly realistic, despite a lot of the fantastical and Tim Burton elements. There are times where I wish the movie kind of committed to one way or the other, and at times dove right into Tim Burton's flair. Scenes like the pink elephant sequence give a taste of what a full-blown Tim Burton style Dumbo movie would really look like, but also don't always fit with the more realistic tone that's established at the beginning. It's foundational choices like these that stop the movie from reaching its full potential, so the screenplay really needed another rewrite to really nail what it wanted to be. Dumbo isn't bad at all. It's a very cute, family fun film that does offer an important message, even if it is a bit light on delivering that message. You've got a very lovable character in Dumbo, who I desperately wanted to see happy, because my heart would sink whenever he was sad. So on that front, the most important front, in actually making you love the character of Dumbo, the movie succeeds. But there's also a lot that's holding it back from its greatness. This is a fun family film that is probably best saved for a matinee screening. Dumbo gets a 6.5 out of 10 from me. Guys, I hope you like this review. If you want to see more reviews just like this one, stay right here for your Mono Fix. Bye guys.